The bouquet trembled in my hands when he said it. Celine Ward, your time is over. First day in his suit, first command as CEO, and I was the sacrificial offering. I didn't flinch. I placed the flowers, white lilies for his office desk, on the table between us. Their stems left water on my fingers, cold and slick, like the knife sliding into my back. 2 days earlier, I'd had a meeting that he didn't know about. That was his mistake. I met Adrian 4 years ago, back when his handshake still carried nerves instead of arrogance. He was just a mid-level strategist then, tucked beneath my wing. I taught him the currents of this company, the predators hidden in the boardroom. He was bright, hungry, reckless. He used to look at me like I was his compass. Now, he was trying to erase me. I noticed the change months before the vote. His eyes stopped asking questions. His calendar had shadows I wasn't invited into. He smiled too easily in meetings, laughing at things I hadn't said. Then came the slip. His secretary forwarding me an email by mistake, a draft speech, his speech. When I take over, those 3 words cut the air out of my lungs. Adrian didn't betray me overnight. He bled me slowly, leaked my projects, undermined my authority, courted allies in the dark. And then, when the board finally handed him the crown, he turned on me without hesitation. But here's what he didn't know. I saw the knife coming, and I sharpened my own. The plan started with silence. I didn't fight the tide when the rumors swelled. I let him think I was tired, finished, irrelevant. I let him believe I still trusted him. 2 days before his coronation, I arranged a meeting with Victor Hahn, the investor Adrian thought was firmly in his pocket. Over a quiet dinner, I slid across the table a file Adrian had signed 3 months ago. A reckless acquisition deal. Overvalued, fragile, and one clause, buried deep, that bound Adrian personally to the losses if it failed. Victor's eyes gleamed. "Why are you giving me this?" "Because loyalty deserves payment," I said. The next morning, I walked into HR and signed a severance contract, one Adrian hadn't seen. An old friend slipped it onto his desk pile days earlier, and he had signed without reading. It guaranteed me not just pay, but retention of all company shares. He thought he was discarding me like trash. In reality, he handed me the trigger. So when he dismissed me, lilies trembling between us, I only nodded. "I understand," I said softly. I left without a word. I let him taste his victory. The board applauded his decisive start. He believed the empire was his. The secretary burst into my apartment the next morning, breathless, cheeks flushed. "Celine, you need to see this." She handed me her tablet. Stock prices in free fall, news banners screaming. Victor had leaked the acquisition deal, Adrian's deal, to the press. Analysts called it reckless, catastrophic. Investors demanded answers. I sipped my coffee and let the warmth pool in my chest. The climax wasn't a scream or a scene, it was a meeting. 1 week later, an emergency board session. Adrian entered pale, his tie loose, eyes bloodshot. He tried to speak of long-term vision. No one listened. Then I entered, calm, composed, not an employee, not anymore, just the second largest shareholder in the room. "Ms. Ward," the chairman greeted. Relief spread like a current through the table. They needed stability. They needed a savior. I let the silence hang before I spoke. I believe what this company needs now is not vision, but control. Someone who understands both the blood and the bones of its structure. Adrian's gaze burned into me. "You planned this?" I met his stare. "I taught you everything you know." "Not everything I know." The vote took less than an hour. Adrian was stripped of authority, his personal assets bound by the failed deal. His empire turned to ash while he sat across from me, realizing the trap had been set long before his first day. Afterward, he cornered me in the corridor, desperation leaking through his voice. "Why? I admired you." I adjusted my coat, meeting his eyes one last time. "You admired me until you thought you could replace me. You should have remembered who taught you how to play the game." I left him there, shaking, undone, his crown already slipping. Now, the lilies he never kept still linger in my memory, pale and delicate against the dark wood of his desk. Symbols of mourning, not celebration. He thought they were a gift. They were a warning. I lost nothing that day. He lost everything. And the best part? I didn't even have to raise my voice.